Is mathematics too hard for Queenslanders? Let's have a look. Good evening everyone, Florian Heiser here with my backup Stein, and I thought today we would have a look at this article from the Courier Mail. Now this has come from changes to our national curriculum in education here in Australia to actually kind of get us a national curriculum in education. And I thought it's interesting looking at this now with discussions to try and get similarities in our building code, or at least the method that we police it throughout Australia. So this is kids claiming that the new maths subjects are too hard for in Queensland. Now, for those of you overseas, it's different departments of education in each state here in Australia, and each state has their own curriculum with certain differences. Now, I grew up in Victoria up until grade 4, and I remember moving to Queensland in primary school. We moved it. What all Victorians do, you go to holiday in Queensland, love it, and you end up moving here. And I remember we were given an exam, and this exam, this little just one-page maths exam, was just something you did down in Melbourne to waste time, to keep busy, just the normal thing. And that just switched me, and the differences in education between Queensland and Victoria, just as a child. I mean, this is primary school, so it could all be down just to the individual teachers and those type of things. But Rachel, my wife, she went to school in 3 different states. So I think her last move was from Queensland down to South Australia. And they actually wanted to hold her back a year because the ages that you go into years are different. They didn't think she'd be able to hack it. So she actually said, no, I'm going to do it. And she worked her butt off to stay in that year and not to get held back a year. So there's all these messy differences between our states, and moving around can cause frustrations for people going around. So let's have a look at this article. So kids claim new math subjects are too hard. Parents said their kids are stressed to the max over the new math subjects being rolled out for senior high school students, with claims their A students are now receiving C's and D's. Okay, well, from my own experience, I remember going into grade 11, and I did mathematics B, which is, you got maths A, which is business maths, maths B, which is the one in the middle, maths C, which is the one you need for engineering. And we also had like 5 maths for living classes in a school with only 100 people in grade 11 and 12. But anyway, so maths for living was the maths for living class. So I remember our first exam, everyone failed it, or most of us failed the exam, and that was the first time in my life I'd ever failed a maths exam. So what I did was I really buckled down, because I was worried that if I wouldn't pass Maths B, I wouldn't be able to get into university. Young and naive, you didn't realize the opportunities that are open to you regardless of what happens. So I ended up hiring my physics teacher to actually tutor me in mathematics after school. And then all my friends started joining up as well. And I mean, he liked it. He was getting some extra pocket money. And we were working through the problems as well. Because, a lot of people did badly on that first exam. So it was the good kick that you needed. That's probably filtered through to the way I'd teach as well. Where, you want to be tough on people at the beginning. Because then they will respond positively to it, usually. So we'll jump back to the article. I wonder if that's what's causing a lot of this. The shift from grade 10 maths to actual senior maths, where it gets real. As school returns this week, some parents have claimed their kids are being left disadvantaged by the new syllabus, which has been described as too hard. I mean, how can just parents saying that? I just get this image of helicopter parents saying, oh, it's too hard for little Johnny. It's too hard for little Jill. She used to be an A student. Now you're damaging her tertiary admission. Am I the only one that's seeing that? Am I the only one that's worrying about that? Good. So this year, Year 11 high school kids have started the new QCE system, which will see OP's scores abandoned in favour of the ATAR rankings at the end of their schooling from 2020 to bring Queensland in line with other states. Now, this is to do with the ranking, your score that you get to get into your degree at university. So we used to have OP from 1 to 24. 24, you pretty much failed at high school entirely, I guess. And 1, you could go into any degree. I ended up, I think I got a 6 and I could get into what I wanted. I think I needed a 12 to get into what I first wanted. And then architecture, I think I got in. So, yeah, it was all good. I didn't mind. No one ever asked you about it after you go out of high school. You know, it puts it all in perspective. 1 year of uni just washes that all away. So a lot of people, if you're watching this and you happen to be going through it, or you know a kid that's going through it, stressing about it, don't worry. Tell them to calm down. Life's got plenty of options. But I know it's a very, very stressful time. So the transition has also meant changes to key subjects such as maths, including altered syllabuses. Well, yes, the syllabi or syllabuses were different in each state, and that causes problems. I remember our physics exam, our teacher got the complex reasoning and scientific process questions mixed up. Our tests were too hard, so we all got bumped up a grade, which was great. But multiple parents from various schools have told the Courier Mail their kids were panicking after one semester in the new subject. Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. That's exactly what happened to me and several of our classmates who failed that first exam after one semester, first thing, or probably one term. A mother of one student said her child had previously liked maths, but had told her they were struggling to fully understand the work this year. If anyone has a child in there, can you send me some of this work, some of the syllabus? Because I'd like to see it. Is it going to be full of social justice rubbish? It can't be. It can't be, can it? It's probably just out of order. It's out of order to what they've done in the past. Her child had no problems getting A's and B's the past couple of years, but now that's not the case, she said. Yep, well, that's going from grade 10 to grade 11. I've had to sign them up for outside tutoring for the rest of the year because they have spent most of their holidays stressing to the max. See, I paid for that myself in grade 11 and 12. I had a job at Woolies, you know, being a service cashier. And I used that to pay for tutoring. I told Rachel, we never met in high school, I told her, oh, I was so cool, and she just shakes her head. Goes, yeah, not a chance. So apparently that's not a normal thing, students paying for their own tutoring. Another mother said their son was worried about his maths scores and that he'd become a C student. Well, mate, you just need to pull your finger out and do the work. Do the work. That's all you need. Probably change of environment, I'd suggest. I remember I used to start going to the university library. After school, I'd just go to the uni library and I'd do my homework there, do the maths there just to get it. And it's actually really relaxing. And I could use the facilities for free because I was going to bond and I could never afford that. So within a few weeks of the school year starting, he told me the work they were doing was much more difficult and his friends were also finding it much harder, she said. Yep. Wait till you get to uni, mate. Wait till you get to uni. It's completely different there. I would say he is a bit panicked, which is not like him at all when it comes to school. He is not getting the same results as he was used to, and I know he is studying just as hard, much harder in fact. Well, maybe this is a valuable life lesson he has to learn. Maybe he's had it a bit too easy in the previous years. Maybe the previous teachers, are these people all from the same school? Are they all from the same? It could come down to the teacher just being crap. You have to wonder whether these groups of kids are being disadvantaged compared to previous years. Meanwhile, external tutoring companies have said they've seen a spike in parents wanting extra help for their kids undertaking Year 11 subjects. Full Spectrum Education founder and education director Ben Meher said the company had experienced an influx of inquiries and bookings. He said the new math subjects were different to those previously taught, and there had been a mixture of emotions surrounding the change, from optimism, anxiety, excitement, and reservations. I remember one as well. We had the physics. I didn't even end up using the physics books they recommended. I bought another one that was much better. Sometimes you just got to think smarter than the curriculum. Timelines have been shortened across the syllabus, and the complexity has definitely increased. There is a sense among some parents that they need to do it on their own. But the Queensland Curriculum and Assessment Authority said students often found the jump from Year 10 to Year 11 difficult. Yes, yeah, I would definitely agree from that from my personal experience. QCAA Chief Executive Chris Ryder said there were many more similarities than differences between the content of the new and previous math syllabus, and the change had been relatively smooth. The step up from Year 10 to Year 11 in general is often challenging for students, he said. It's important that parents know that a student's results in Year 11 don't count towards their final grade in a subject or the ATAR calculations. Well, yes, so you got a chance. You can do terrible at the beginning of the subject and improve. Maybe often it's probably better that it's not counted, because this can be the kick up the arse people need. Queensland's new senior maths syllabus are based on nationally agreed content and standards and were developed by working groups of teachers, academics and other experts. This approach ensures continuity with what students learned in maths in primary and junior secondary, not just in Queensland but across the country. Well, that's a good idea. Mr. Ryder said schools also had been well supported to implement the new syllabus through an unprecedented professional development program. For maths teachers alone, this included 70 face-to-face workshops, 10 online modules, and 150 teaching courses. Is that for each individual teacher or for the whole state? Regular statewide forums for principals and curriculum leaders, he said. The Queensland Secondary Principals Association President Mark Brackenridge echoed Mr. Ryder's comments on the transition from Year 10 to Year 11 and said it was not unusual for the first semester to be stressful. What I'm thinking more and more that this article is just the result of overprotective helicopter mothers. And on that, I'm going to have a coffee. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think. Sometimes failing can be the best thing that happens to someone. My advice to parents who have concerns is to go and talk directly with the school and not to jump to any unnecessary conclusions, he said. The amount of planning that has gone into the system is the most significant in Queensland's curriculum history, and that's not to say the work has stopped. Mr. Brackenridge said the change to the new system was one which has been broadly recognised as one which was necessary. Well, yeah, anyone who's gone state to state knows that. There was a lot of consultation that went into this, he said. This year is a complex 12-month school... This year is a complex 12 months. Schools and teachers at the moment are balancing Year 11 on one side and Year 12 on the other. Oh, they're doing the half-half shift. Oh, boy. I think schools are feeling confident in the work and effort they're putting in to make it work. So, what do you think, guys? I would put money on it being overprotective. Parents, and most of them here are mothers. Your sons will be fine. Let them fail. Let them grow from it. It'll be good for them. Anyway, guys, like, share and subscribe. Ding the bell to see my daily updates, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.